Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. This is my second video in Terraform series. If you guys have not seen the first video, I will share a link in this video. Please go ahead and check it. At the end of the Terraform state video, we will be having quizzes related to Terraform state, right? So let us start about the Terraform state. Okay. As per the definition, I will say, by default, this file is stored locally in a file called Terraform state. It maps out the resources deployed to Terraform configuration. In a sense, if I have deployed some configuration things, maybe a EC2 instance or a blob store or some resources, right, to some environment, right, it maps those resources, whatever has been done actually, as a kind of tracker. It tracks all the changes what we have done in the Terraform configuration. Now it refreshes the state file before it makes a modification, thus it acts as a cache which saves multiple API calls to the resources, right? Say for example, I have created 3 AWS instances, right? And I'm going to create 4th EC2 instances, right? Assume if there is no tracker or a kind of state file, right, it would have created the 4 instances. But given the fact that 3 instances are already created, right, so now it saves creating 3 more instances and it only creates the 1 instances, which is the required thing, right? So thus it acts as a cache also here in this scenario. Now Terraform state command, it is kind of a utility for manipulating and reading the Terraform state file. You can remove a resource which is not, then it will be not managed by Terraform, right? Now if you Terraform make a destroy, it will be not destroyed because it is not managed by Terraform anymore, right? Now there are few commands here in Terraform state which we'll be having a look into, right? One is about Terraform state list, Terraform show, Terraform output, and Terraform state RM, right? Now here Terraform state list resource, whatever that being deployed, right, it will track that in a state file. Terraform show will show the details of the resource, right? So the output would be like whatever the output blocks you have used in the Terraform code, right? It will just print out after the code execution. So basically what happens, if you make an output block, the Terraform outputs get deployed when you make a Terraform apply. But what if I want to see later period of time also, right? That will be helpful when we can use Terraform output. And if you don't want to manage any state, right, for a particular resource, we can remove that state, and thus Terraform no longer manages it, right? Great. Let us see now with this an example of how this all works out. So to save some time, I have this file docker creation.tf, right? Let us see the docker creation.tf content actually. Here we are using the provided Docker. We have used the command called sleep for 600 seconds, and we are outputting the container ID and the container IP, right? So let us see how it starts. We make first initialization, then we make a plan, right? Okay, everything looks good. Let us make a Terraform apply. Great. So now we can see here the container ID is being created and the container IP is also being there. Great. Now here few things. Now we want to know, say example, the output got created, right? But I want to see the output again. What to do? There is a command in Terraform which is called Terraform Output -JSON, right? And I can see the value is coming in a JSON file. Now, right? So let us see what does the state file contains. So if I cat this Terraform TF state, you can see all the resources which has been used for this Terraform configuration file is being present here, right? Okay, and here we can see also one output section, right? Okay, we can do one thing here. We can use this output as an explicit command is there in Terraform. The command is called Terraform Output -JSON, right? And you can see that the value is coming here. Now, for example, if I want the particular IP of this container IP, right, to be printed, there is a feature where we can use that, but for that we need to use JQ. JQ is like a parsing the JSON file. If you guys are not aware of JQ, I will be posting a link here just to understand that what is JQ. So if I do JQ here, I can see that all these are coming in a proper JSON key value pair. And if I want to get the container IP with the value, you can see the value is coming. Don't worry if you don't know JQ, I have an entire series being prepared for JQ only. Now, say for example, if I want to see here that what is the state currently right now is it, right? So let me go by here a command called Terraform Show. Okay. If I show the Terraform Show command, you can see it's again a complete JSON with no indentation, right? Just like that. Okay. If I want a proper indentation, right, I need to use this one, JQ again. This dot is an identifier. So we can see here the values are coming properly indented, right? What it was earlier with no indentation, this comes as a proper indentation, right? Now, if there is a curiosity, like, okay, I got the Terraform state file and I want this particular value of the network data from the state file, or not for that, like if you have a state file and if you want a particular value to be grabbed, right, that you can also do here, that also from the help of the Terraform state file, right? Great. Let us see how to get that also. It's very simple. So first of all, we need to see here and understand how the JQ array things work, right? And to do that, if you are much not aware of, again I will be posting the particular array link or JQ which can be helpful here. So if I go on the top, I can see the whatever the values are coming here, it comes from this key and everything is a value, right? All these are value. So let me first get the key towards. If I type values, what I'll get everything inside that value. Great. Now from here, I am not concerned about the output section, right? I am more concerned about the root modules because my network data is under there, right? Now this is an example of getting the values what you're looking from the Terraform state file, right? It may be different from your scenario, but this is how to check there. Great. So if I go here from the values, let me just see the root modules, because I see there is a root modules here. Let me copy the name. Root module. And now inside the root module, I see there is a resources. Spellings do matter. Resources is an array. How do we don't understand as an array? Because it's braces. These flower brackets are different, these braces are different. So this is an array, right? Now here I will be using an array to filter that, right? This is called an iterator filter or array filter, right? Inside this array, I can see here there is a thing called values. Now let us first print up till here and see what is comes. Yes, it can come, we can see here. Now this is the key, and again this entire is the value, right? Great. Now from this key, I was looking for this network data. So we are halfway done, right? So what I need is value, and from the value, I want this network data, right? Great. I can see that values and network data is coming, but it is also coming as null because it is iterating over there, right? And network data, this is an array. As we can see, it has a kind of a brackets, right? So that means we need to use this thing. Great. But it cannot iterate over the null resources, right? It's true. So we can simplify this with something called, say I want to have a value of gateway. Yep, I can get the value of gateway, I can get the value of IP address, anything, right? Great. Now for this same continuation, let us see the one more command which is called Terraform state list. Here in the state list, I can see it has two things: Docker container, new container, and the TF container. If I make a Docker PS, I can see that my container is already up. So how to delete that state files, right? Though I will be not recommending it for any beginner, right, to try this out because it can mess up your state file, right, and the configurations. But however, for this demo purpose, we can test it out. So, say example, I can see here that this is the Docker container, new container as a state file list we are having, right? So let us delete this actually. If we delete this, right, what is happening? Okay, so now under the state we can see there are two resources. One is a container, another is the image. Image is the CentOS image and the container is the Terraform Docker image, right? This is the container, right? So we have two resources. Now I have removed one, so that means if I say Terraform stateless, I will be seeing only one, right? So that means if I make a Terraform destroy right away, it will delete only one resource. It will not delete the two resources. See? Now that means I have still Docker, the container is still there with me. It has not deleted. So that means it has excluded from that state list, right? So this is all about today's hands-on of how we are going to use the state file, right? Now let us dive into the quizzes section for now. So I will recommend when we are having this quiz, just pause for a few seconds and see if your answers is matching with my answer, right? Great. So the first question says, which command would you use to see all the resources that have been created and are being tracked by the Terraform state file? Now I will say you can pause this video and you can answer that in a comment section. So the right answer is Terraform state file. Okay. So why the Terraform state list? Why the Terraform test list? Because we see that in the Docker container and the Docker image creation, right, there are two states there. So Terraform state list actually prints out what are the things being used here. So this is the correct answer. The second question is, what does Terraform state mechanism do? The correct answer is, it maps real world resources to Terraform configuration or code, right? The state file, basically whatever you have deployed, it just map that into that state file, right? So that whatever the configuration you're using, for example, as I said, if you have 3 instances and you're going to make one more instances, it just maps out that, boss, you have 3 already being there, so I don't need to create 3 more instances, I just need a 1 more instance. That's it, right? So this is the correct answer. Next question, where in Terraform code can you configure where the state file is stored? Now this is an interesting question because we have not covered here a concept called backend. So I will say the answer is in Terraform block using the backend attribute. Now backend section we will be covering in the future videos I will say, right? So we can say that whenever you want to configure the backend, right? For example, I want a backend of Azure Blob Storage or a S3 bucket, right? I can configure where I want that state file to be stored, right? Great. Next question is, in what file is your Terraform state stored locally? I hope you guys all know the answer. It is terraform.tf state. Great. Next question. What benefits does storing Terraform state remotely offer? I hope you guys know this answer. So it provides granular access, integrity, security, availability, and collaboration, right? If you have a state file remotely somewhere, you are no longer bound to the local thing. So for example, if I created 3 instances and save in a local place, right? And you don't have any idea, you just deleted 3 resources from your local place. So it will be a mess, right? So for a better collaboration, we keep the state file into some remote place so that I can also pull that remote file and make some changes, and the other developer also can pull the remote file and make some changes provided there is a lock. Great. So the last question, how does Terraform handle dependencies in your infrastructure when deploying or destroying resources? So the correct answer is it handles them via the Terraform state file. So Terraform state file is the only person who can know or who actually knows what are the things are dependent for deploying these resources. For example, if you have to deploy a subnet, what are the things which is dependent upon, right? It knows all of these details in this Terraform state file, right? So Terraform state file is a very critical piece of this Terraform workflow. I hope this video is informative. Please do like and subscribe my channel. Thank you.